Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Hodges. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 1 year and 4 months old. Now, I looked up the day on when I was diagnosed, and it was Sunday, April 3rd, 1988. I was able to look that up very easily because all I had to do was Google what day was Easter on in 1988. On Easter morning, my mother came in to pick me up out of my crib to get me ready for the day on Easter. And when she lifted me up out of the crib, my body was completely lifeless. My legs and arms flopped backwards, my head flopped backwards, and obviously there was something wrong. Her and my dad rushed me to the hospital, ran into the emergency room, and basically shouted, "There's something wrong with my baby." And the nurses grabbed me and rushed me back into the hospital, in which I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Who knows how long I was in that state in my crib? I don't know. My parents will never know. Luckily, it wasn't long enough to end my life, right? The second time that day that I almost died, or that weekend, or however long I was in the hospital that I almost died, was when my mother went to get my prescription of insulin to leave the hospital and started walking away, stopped, turned around and looked at the pharmacist and said, "Is this diluted insulin?" The pharmacist, without hesitation, grabbed the bag out of my mother's hand as fast as she could because it was not diluted insulin. And had I gone home and gotten a dose of insulin with that insulin, I would have died. You wouldn't have been able to save me. For 2 years after my diagnosis, my mom was on the phone with this amazing endocrinologist getting dosages for my insulin because of how much the insulin and food and everything affected my diabetes at my age. I know that I'm not the only one that is in this type of situation with their diagnosis. And even if it's not the same severity or it's more, every parent who has a child that has diabetes can understand the way my mother felt. Because everybody's experiences are different. The way that everybody feels about things is different. And that is something that I think we all need to understand while going down these paths. And not just people with diabetes, but other people need to understand that things are tough and that one way that you take things is different than somebody else. And everybody's entitled to respond to things in their lives differently. My goal here is to make videos to talk to you about my experiences with my diabetes, why I think I got to some of the places that I've been to in my life, and to help encourage you to make different changes in your lives as well with diabetes, or to learn something about diabetes to help you stay out of the positions that I have put myself into, whether or not it was because of myself or lack of education that I've been given through my life. That being said, I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I have no ties to the medical field, so nothing that I say is medical advice. Nothing that I say should be taken as any kind of advice, and you should 100% consult your endocrinologist before making decisions. It's just the smart thing to do. 2 weeks ago, I got onto a new pump and a Dexcom. I'm on the Dexcom G6, which is just awesome to be able to see what my blood sugars are doing every 5 minutes of the day, essentially. And I'm on a Tandem T-Slim pump, which is just, so far, it's been an amazing experience for the last almost 3 weeks now. I got that pump set up and everything on December 27th. And that is the day that my life changed with diabetes. Okay. My last A1C, that was about 3.5 months ago or so, was in the 11s. Last Thursday, I went and had my blood drawn for my next endocrinologist appointment, which will be this Wednesday, January 17th. And I'm excited to see what that number is. I know that it's not going to be a huge change, but I'm excited that it's going to be my last high A1C that I'm ever going to have because of my new choices with my diabetes to better myself, to make sure that I'm here for as long as I can and as healthy as I can, to be with my kids, my wife, my sister, my nephew, my mom, my friends, all of the people in my life that mean the world to me. I want to be here for them for as long as I can and be as healthy as I can during that time. The night that I got the new pump set up and I met with the pump trainer, that pump trainer taught me how to use the pump, but that was the least important thing that he did for me that night. The most important thing that he did for me that night was introduce me to the Juicebox podcast and the Juicebox podcast Facebook page. If you're not on there, get on there, and you will see incredible changes in your life with diabetes. I have learned more in the last 2 weeks listening to this podcast than I have in the entire time that I've had diabetes. I want to use this platform as a way to just help people get past the things that I've been through in my life. And I think I can do that, but I'm not the most well-versed when it comes to it. I can only speak to my experiences. Listen to the podcast and see for yourself why I think that I've been able to make this change. From December 27th to last Thursday, and I think it was the 11th of January, it was about an exact 2-week period, or 14 days. And in that 14 days, my average blood sugar was about 122 or something like that. My last A1C, being in the 11s, puts my average blood sugar at 276-ish, is what my doctor said. And those numbers aren't like definitive, but I know that it was somewhere in the 270 range, and my A1C was 11 point something. And I know, and again, like I said, I know that those 2 weeks of having great blood sugars is not going to make my next A1C, that was, only 2 weeks worth of data, is not going to bring it down drastically, but it's going to be, like I said, the last A1C that I have that's in those ranges. With the Dexcom, and if I look at the Clarity app, which is it's an amazing app that works with the Dexcom. Over the last 14 days starting today, so January 2nd, my average blood sugar is 113, and it says that my estimated A1C should be a 6%. That's almost cutting my A1C in half and making my life a much better life to live with diabetes. I am so excited to go down this journey and to help be a motivation for diabetes, help be a sounding board for you. I will answer questions in the comment section. I want to build a community and help to drive the community higher that the Juicebox podcast has already created. I 100% believe that diabetes can be manageable, and more manageable than I ever thought it was prior to 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, whatever it is now. Stay tuned, subscribe, and like my channel so that you can continue to watch my journey. And I hope that my journey helps you in your own journey with diabetes. I will post a video once I have my next doctor's appointment this Wednesday, so that we can continue down this path. I'm excited to share with you more stories from my past with diabetes, how I got there, why I got there, and what I should have done in some of those situations, and then talk about the things that I'm continuously learning every single day to make my diabetes just be that much more manageable and that much better, which makes my life better. You can all do this, all right? If you've been struggling with diabetes, like I said, I was diagnosed in 1988. It's been about almost 35 years that I've had it out of the 37 years that I've been alive. And if you've been in there for that long, or half that long, or a year, or it's your kids that have it and they've only had it for a certain amount of time, it's not an end-all diagnosis anymore. It used to be, and it's not anymore. So I really, really hope that we can grow together through this. And I look forward to being here with you guys through this. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.